The City of Waterloo, in cooperation with its many active and inspiring entities, presents Heart for the City, a chance to hear and see what's going on in our city and to meet people who serve you, teach you, entertain you, help you, all neighbors and like you. Make this a city on the move. And now, here's our host, the Honorable Quentin Hart.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Heart for the City. I'm Quentin Hart, proud mayor of Waterloo, and we have another great show for you. Someone once said, nobody knew healthcare could be so complicated. Well, I think most people knew. The passage of the comprehensive healthcare reform in 2010 was truly historic, and since then much has happened. But one question still exists. Where does one go if they have no insurance, inadequate insurance, or even if fully insured for quality health care? Hoping the answer is not Waterloo's best-kept secret, we will have more on this very important topic. Stay with us.
There's a place that lies directly between where you've been and where you're going. It's the place in the middle, the place where your past and future connect. Hawkeye Community College is that place, connecting you to great faculty, engaged students, and four-year destinations like the University of Northern Iowa. Every masterpiece starts with a blank canvas, and every success story begins with an empty page. Start writing your story today. Hawkeye Community College. Connect.
Individuals that lack adequate health insurance are often low income or reside in rural areas. Often they cannot access preventative and primary care services and do not have a regular source of care. As a result, health problems may go undiagnosed and or untreated, increasing the long-term risk of serious illness and death. But here in Waterloo, we have a solution to this problem, and here to tell us about it is Ann Cook, MSN, RN, PA, and the Clinical Director of People's Community Health Clinic. Welcome, Ann, to Heart for the City.
Thank you, Mayor Hart. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us, what exactly is People's Clinic?
Okay, well, People's Clinic is a federally qualified health center. We shorthand that to calling it an FQHC. And we receive funding through the Health Resources and Services Administration through the federal government, or HRSA. And we qualify for that funding under Section 330 of the Public Services Act. So we refer to our main funding as our 330 grant. As an FQHC, we receive enhanced reimbursement for both Medicaid and Medicare services, and we agree to serve an underserved area of population, provide a sliding fee scale for services, provide comprehensive services either within our site or with agreements within the community with other providers. We have an ongoing quality assurance program, and we are governed by a board of directors.
Right. And when you say board of directors, you know, I don't know if some of them have been around since the foundation, but can you tell us a little bit about just the unique historical background?
Oh, sure. Yes, People's Clinic actually goes back to 1976, and we started out in a church basement. And we've had a couple of different locations since then. We're currently at 905 Franklin, here just a couple blocks from where we're sitting. And we have a 40,000 square foot facility. And we provide we provide many services there. We also have a satellite location in Clarksville in Butler County. We've had that since 2008. And supporting this all is our mission to provide access to affordable, compassionate, high-quality health care for all. And we also want to improve the health of the community as a whole.
So let's just back up on one thing. It's kind of funny. But when you said we're sitting a few blocks away from that, according to this prompter, we're sitting right in front.
We are. We're right out in the parking lot.
Right behind us. But,
Good thing it's a nice day.
I know, beautiful day. You mentioned a little bit about the services, but what medical and non-medical services, if you want to highlight some of those again?
Absolutely, yes. We provide well care, acute and chronic care for both adults and children. We have RN health coaches for our adult patients. We have a nutritionist who works with both adults and children. We have behavioral health services, which now includes a psychiatric nurse practitioner. We have an outreach and enrollment counselor to help individuals who may need health insurance. We have pharmacy, lab, and x-ray on site. We have just started a medication-assisted treatment program for opioid use disorder. We're very excited about that. And we have recently expanded our availability of contraceptive options for women to include LARCs or long-acting reversible contraceptives.
Okay. And you also provide some dental care?
We do. We have a dental
who
clinic.
Who would be eligible for that, too?
Anyone can be a dental patient at People's Clinic. We provide services to both adults and children, and you do not need to be a medical patient to be a dental patient at People's Clinic.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And I think while you were listing, you also mentioned a little bit about counseling services.
Yes, our behavioral health services, yes.
So how are the services provided, or you want to tell us a little bit about the counseling portion?
Sure, absolutely. Well, we now have a psychiatric nurse practitioner. We're very excited about that. She's been with us almost 2 years now. As well, we have 2 substance abuse counselors, and we have several social workers on staff. And they provide services to both adults and pediatric patients at the clinic, and they also help to coordinate services with other behavioral health providers in the community.
And who's actually able to utilize the clinic?
Anyone. We welcome everyone to come and be a patient at People's Clinic.
Okay. And, the homeless population, how do you handle that?
We have a homeless outreach program. That's one of our grant-funded programs. We have 2 full-time staff with that program. So at any given point during the clinic day, we have one of those outreach workers out in the community, and then there's one in the clinic to meet with people who walk in the doors to looking for help with housing.
And is there a choice of doctors?
Oh, absolutely, yes. We have a number of providers in both adults and pediatrics. It's kind of a personal choice. We try and help people if they have questions. You may have a family member or friend who's a patient who could give you a recommendation. We have both male and female providers, physician providers, and also mid-level providers, nurse practitioners and physician assistants.
And patient-centered model?
Patient-centered medical home.
Medical home.
Yes.
Yes. I can almost
it's kind
pronounce
of a
it. But what is that?
Okay. Well, patient-centered medical home, we're very proud that both our Waterloo site and our Clarksville site is recognized through the National Committee for Quality Assurance, the NCQA. And to be a patient-centered medical home means that we're patient-centered, that we strive very hard to provide comprehensive care, to coordinate services for care both within our facility and in the community with other providers. Okay. Accessibility is very important, and we're also committed to quality and safety and had ongoing programs for both of those initiatives.
All right. And say, for instance, we live in such a diverse community now. How do you handle patients with some limited English language abilities?
Yes. Well, we're very fortunate. On site at our main clinic, we have interpreters in-house for Spanish, Bosnian, French, and some of the languages of the people from Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. And we also use a telephone language service to supplement for languages that we don't have in-house. Pretty much any language that we would come across, we can take care of through the telephone language service.
And what if I need some medical care in later hours after you probably close?
Well, we have an urgent care, and our urgent care is open from noon to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Okay. It's open from 10 to 5 on Saturday and from 1 to 4 on Sundays, so we can provide after-hours care that way.
And there is a reach out and read. I'm just coming with all of them. That's research. Our researchers have found all these programs.
Yes.
So you want to tell us a little bit about
I'd love to. Reach Out and Read is a great program. It's a national initiative. We have participated since 2000. We are one of 92 sites across Iowa that participates in the Reach Out and Read program. Wow. And what that does is it encourages literacy and reading in the home starting from a young age. The program starts at the age of 6 months. So starting with that 6-month well child visit, the parent is given an age-appropriate book to take home, brand new book, to take home and read with that child. And so then at every well child visit, up until the age of 5, they receive a nice new book, age appropriate, to take home and read with their child. It's considered a prescription from that pediatric provider, and the provider talks about the importance of reading with the child, the bonding experience, and also getting those kids ready for reading when they enter kindergarten. Very important.
And before we wrap up in a second, with regards to costs for your services, can you elaborate on that?
Sure. We accept all forms of insurance. And if someone is un- or underinsured, as I mentioned, we have an outreach and enrollment counselor that may be able to help them get enrolled in some health care coverage. We also offer a sliding fee scale that patients can apply for that may help with costs, and we also can set up payment plans if they need help paying their expenses.
So just to a tremendous opportunity on sliding levels for people to be able to get direct treatment and care.
Yes.
So, and I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your
It's been my pleasure.
Busy schedule to walk way over here.
All 2 blocks.
To talk to us about this outstanding medical facility. It's more than just a facility. It's a place of enduring and loving care for anyone that may be in need. With almost 10% of the population uninsured or underinsured, thankfully, there is a way of accessing health care in the heart of our community. So thanks to you and all the staff at People's Clinics for what you do.
Absolutely.
People's Clinic is owned and operated by people living in our community. We should all heartily thank the many caring individuals like Ann, the organizations, and the charitable foundations, for their support of People's Clinic and its mission. It is the caring staff, volunteers, and board of directors who are the driving force, absolutely the driving force in their effort to achieve the vision of optimal health for all. So I cannot emphasize enough of how much of a caring asset the People's Clinic is to Waterloo and the surrounding areas. Moving on, we have many ambassadors representing our city, like the people at Main Street, Experience Waterloo, and the Grow Cedar Valley ambassadors in their purple jackets. But what about the people who work for the downtown parking system? In the summer of 2015, Republic Parking Systems took over total responsibility for downtown parking. And this has led to some very favorable and surprising changes. So stay tuned for more on how parking has become a customer-friendly ambassador for our city.
When I ride my bike, I am always very careful and stay safe at all times. I always wear a properly fitted helmet. I check the safety lights in the front and back of my bike, and no matter where I ride, I keep an eye out for cars, even when riding on the sidewalk. This message is brought to you by Drive Safe Cedar Valley.
Welcome back. Along with new parking management, the City Council approved a number of purchases to upgrade the equipment Republic Parking will be using. This includes a new $48,000 street sweeper for parking ramps, a new radio communication system, and a $55,000 license plate recognition system to help with overtime parking enforcement. But to tell us more about the modernization and enhancement of parking and the parking system is Jeri Griswold, Republic Parking System Project Manager. So welcome, Jeri.
Thanks for having me.
That was kind of like a lot going on. Big title, fresh new start over the last couple years. But what is Republic Parking and what in a general sense do you do?
We do a lot with on-street parking, running parking ramps. We do it for cities, hospitals, airports. We do valet services for all those also.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. So broad-based different things. Are you just in the state or around the state? Or?
The last I saw, it was about 84 cities throughout the U.S.
Gosh,
so it's
wow.
Our corporate office is based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So.
Okay, and we got a spot for them here if they need one. Since 2015, things just don't stay the same. You may think it's parking downtown and that's it, but things have changed since then. What are some things that have changed to enhance downtown Waterloo?
Our biggest thing that we've changed lately is the implementation of the new Passport app. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to carry all that loose change around with you to plug your meter. It's just when you download an app onto your phone, you pay your meter from your phone. It'll alert you when it's about to expire, so you can pay it from wherever you're at. Don't have to run back out to the meter. As you mentioned, the LPR unit, which gives us the ability to just kind of go through the ramps, make sure the cars that are in there are supposed to be in there, that nobody's taking people's parking spots. It just makes that job a lot easier for enforcement also. Okay. And how are parking rates even determined? And how are they different in different areas? It just depends on the area that they're at. If they're business located in front of businesses, it'll usually be a smaller one because those businesses want their customers to be able to come and go and have spots for their next customers. So it just kind of depends on the area that the meters are located at. As far as rates for the meters, those are kind of determined. We do parking studies, just kind of what's more utilized, that kind of stuff, and then we'll consult with other cities and just kind of see where they're at on rates and compare our location to that.
Right, and if someone wanted to find out just more information overall on parking, just in general, you know, how would they get more information?
They can definitely call our office. We can help them with anything. Otherwise, there is a link on the city website. If you go on there under parking, it can get you all the information what lots are ours, that kind of stuff.
Well, it's interesting. Just the you know, I see so many people come out for jury duty, and that whole street in front of my office is like taken up with people. So, very, very good system in place. But how are parking violations? How are they actually tracked, and how can one pay the fines?
Okay, they can call our office.
So pay your fines.
They can pay them over the phone with our office by credit or debit card. We have 8 drop boxes throughout downtown Waterloo that they can drop their payment into. There's a pay VATS. They can go online, pay that way. So there's multiple options for them to make their payments on that.
Okay, and with the use of credit cards, often people, they don't even carry cash anymore. Is there a way to pay without cash, though?
Yep, they can pay, like I said, with the passport parking, they can pay that way. And of course, our office takes credit cards to process any parking ticket payments.
And you mentioned passport parking, but how can you use it again?
It's just an app that you download onto your phone. Then once you initially set that account up, you only have to do that the one time, and then you'll just set up a password for it, and then you just log into it, plug in whatever meter you happen to be at that day, and how much time you want to put on it.
Right. And you're and right now Republic is downtown Waterloo with parking assistance at no charge. Like, what does that mean, and you know, what do these services include?
Okay, as long as we have staff on site, we will provide jump starts, tire fills, or security walks. So if you're leaving work, you know, later at night, you're not feeling comfortable walking to your car, as long as we have staff on site, we'll send somebody out to walk you back to your car, make sure you get there safely.
So you're saying that if my car isn't starting, that I can just call you and you'll come out and start it?
Yep, as long as you're in the downtown area, we will come out and help you.
Always parameters around things. I was just, you know, it was a rough winter. But just about the overall company, how long have you been there?
I started in July of 2017.
Okay, so you've been there what, almost 2 years?
Yep.
Okay. And you said I think you have about 80 or so different cities across the United
Correct.
States as well. I mean, wow, that is impressive. So do you do the downtown services in other communities too, or is it just local Waterloo? Or
we are currently Waterloo. We do have a location in Cedar Rapids also.
Okay. And if for any reason, if someone needed to contact you, how would they do that?
Okay, they can call us at our office. That number's 319-291-0145. Waterloo Parking at republicparking.com.
Okay.
Yep. So those are the 2 main ways to get a hold of us. But I mean, if you see an enforcement officer, meter technician out and about, and you have a question, they'll be able to answer it for you.
And Jeri, before we transition towards the end of the show, one last question. So when you take a look at what you actually provide, you guys just aren't out there to mess with people and all those things, are you? You are providing a service for people, correct?
We are. We're trying to, you know, kind of help the businesses downtown, you know, make sure that people are kind of rotating through so their customers will have parking, that someone's just not parking at a meter all day long and, you know, kind of blocking up all the parking downtown. We do work with people, you know, if we've seen someone that's coming in, repeat tickets, we'll, you know, hey, we have a lot over here that may be a better option for you. So, yep, we're definitely there to help. So if there's anything, you know, questions, just contact our office and we'll do the best we can.
All right. So thank you so much, Jeri, for being on Heart for the City. You and Republic Parking Systems are providing a much-needed service, and you're constantly upgrading in the downtown parking network and maintaining clean and convenient parking ramps. So Republic is always surveying the changing needs and accommodating our visitors, residents, and business owners as well. So people visiting, should consider using the ramps where your car is safe, is sheltered from the weather, and if you have a problem, someone may well be available to come and assist you. So thank you very much, Jeri. Just a reminder that Passport Parking, a mobile parking application, allows drivers to pay for their parking through their smartphones. For more information on convenient ways to park and pay, visit our website at cityofwaterlooiowa.com, Parking Enforcement. And to keep it in perspective, 2 hours parking in a Waterloo ramp is $1.50. That's 150 pennies. That's 30 nickels. But by comparison, New York City is $32.97. Chicago is $18.66. Boston, $20.80. And Washington, D.C., that's $14.28. So as you pay at Waterloo's meters or ramps, think of the money that you are saving. And on another topic, what is MLK 50? Stay with us and find out.
Discover your past, present, and future at the Grant Museum District. Explore and play at the Bludorn Science Imaginarium. This interactive science center provides fun, hands-on exhibits and live science demonstrations. Visitors can explore more than 90 different exhibits and marvel at the aquariums and enclosures that are home to a variety of amphibians, fish, reptiles, snakes, and arachnids. Enjoy both permanent and temporary exhibits at the Grant Museum of History and Science. Take in a planetarium show and learn all about the history of the Cedar Valley. Marvel at the Victorian elegance of the Snowden House and the Rensselaer Russell House Museum. Visit the Sullivan Brothers Iowa Veterans Museum and take in its traditional and interactive displays. Veteran stories are told throughout the museum's mini theaters, interactive maps, dog tag stations, and more. Visit gmdistrict.org for details, hours, and rates.
On Monday, January 21st, we celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. On this day, also known as the MLK Day of Service. And in Waterloo and throughout the country, many adults and youth spent hours helping others through organized public service. These activities are inspired by Dr. King's own words: everyone has the power for greatness, not for fame, but greatness, because greatness is determined by service. And you may recall in 2018, that was the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, and memorialized last year with MLK 50 events. What special activities took place in Waterloo? And here to recall much of it is Reverend Abraham Funchess Jr., Executive Director of the Waterloo Commission on Human Rights, author, historian, actor, TV and radio personality, speaker, and pastor. So welcome, Reverend Funchess, again, and thank you for recently filling in. We didn't do it twice in a row because we already knew that there would be great outreach in the community to have you here permanently. So we didn't do it twice in a row. We just did it once. But, nonetheless, thank you. But before we dive into some of the MLK conversation about MLK 50 and 51, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Sure. Well, I have the privilege at this particular time in history of serving as your Human Rights Director, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank you for the honor of filling in for you.
All right.
I really do appreciate that. I'm also a local pastor right now at Jubilee United Methodist Youth Resource Center, and we have a vibrant book discussion going on right now, as a matter of fact, The Color of Compromise, and it's pulling on 35, 40 leaders across the city, the Metroplex, so we feel good about it.
Absolutely. And a lot of people think that the journey or where they see you at today is where you started at. But I can go back, 10, 15, not to predate our ages, man, and remembering Make It Plain or your work on the state level and the entire maturation to you being here today. So I want to thank you for all the efforts that you've done throughout the years, man.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Yeah,
it's easy to take a snapshot of now, but you got to look at the entire biography of a person and see their walk.
Absolutely.
But last year was a celebration of the Martin Luther Dr. King Jr.'s 50th anniversary of his assassination. And, I know there was MLK 50 that was celebrated, but tell us about the culmination of all of those things, what transpired last year leading into now.
Right. We were just excited about MLK 50 because it was a golden opportunity to commemorate the assassination of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who bequeathed a legacy to us, an intellectual and social justice legacy. And so one of the activities that worked really well to pull people together was a reenactment of the Selma March that we did in March. Quite a few people came out for that walk through the city that culminated at the Waterloo Center for the Arts. And we had some vibrant speakers. The keynote speaker was the Reverend Dr. Michael D. Blackwell.
Oh my God.
And anybody who knows Blackwell knows he can be animated.
Right.
Yeah, but it was exciting. And I think people got a rush out of that activity. And then, of course, something that I really like, we had an opportunity, Nicole Cook and I had an opportunity to do a play by Katari Hall. And it was called The Mountaintop, and I think that was received well by the community.
Right, and I forgot to back up a little bit because, hearing you speak and your studies and the place that Dr. King has for you, tell us just a little bit about what Dr. King has meant to you personally.
Yeah, I like to think that he's an intellectual mentor because of, his emphasis on social justice, the way he ties in community and commerce, the idea of always being a beacon of light, regardless of what positions we serve in. Right. And so for me, Dr. King is just a blazing example of what we as preachers, but also leaders, should be doing in order to ensure that justice is meted out all across the community. And so it's just a wonderful opportunity to hold him up as an example because he's recognized now as a universal American hero.
Right, absolutely.
And,
Was he back then to some people? No, we won't.
No, he wasn't.
That's another story.
I think that's a great question, man. But no, he wasn't. He was loved by some.
Rabble-rouser. He need to stop.
That's right. That's right. He wasn't recognized as such a great leader back then.
Right. And what's interesting, right in my office, right behind my desk, is the quote, "The ultimate measure of a man or woman is not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of trials and tribulations." Because I think some of these minor situations that I go through on a daily basis, I can always go back and look at how he stood up to a challenge. He stood up and spoke truth to power. He spoke truth to his own community.
Absolutely.
To try to raise a greater social morality and consciousness of his community. But you also had the put together another opportunity, is the Freedom Bus Tour.
Yeah.
Please tell us about that.
That was an interesting experience, but we made the trip, Mayor. We took 17 people from Waterloo to Memphis to Montgomery to Selma and back. We went through Birmingham, but we didn't get a chance to stop in Birmingham. But it was a wonderful opportunity to broaden our American history background as we visited iconic civil rights spaces down south. And, the idea of going to Memphis and seeing the iconic Lorraine Motel was something that I think resonated with everyone who was on the trip. Going through the museum is always a blast. And just being in Memphis, quite frankly. Right. We were right across the street from the famous Peabody Hotel, and not too far away from Beale Street. And so, we took in all of that at the same time.
Right.
But then going down, I think what was really memorable is not only the Selma, because we did cross over the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and our beloved iconic heroine here in town, Willamette Wright. That was her first time being across the bridge. So it just made that very meaningful for us because that was her first time actually being there in Selma to cross that bridge herself. So that was exciting. If we just took the trip just for Miss Wright, it would have been worth it.
Right. And I heard it even brought tears to some people's eyes as well, seeing that also.
Absolutely, it was just gorgeous. But when we were in Montgomery, in particular, though, that's where they just erected the Legacy Museum and the Lynching Memorial, and that just opened in 2018. But it just brings back a rush of emotion when you witness that. And so the idea of fixing something of all of the people who were lynched, the strange hanging fruit off the trees, Billie Holiday, making sense of that. I think Brian Stevenson, the guy who was instrumental in erecting all of this, he said about the Holocaust Museum and other museums, the museum serves to remind people that this will never happen again. And so often in Afro-American history, we don't have museums to commemorate anything like that. Now we have something with the lynching memorial. And hopefully people get a chance to witness that and they say never again would this happen on our watch.
Well, before we transition to the end of this segment, we're going to have to do something where we spend more time just talking about this conversation. But is the struggle over?
Long from over. We are blessed to have our first African-American mayor for the city of Waterloo, but obviously you're dealing with microaggressions on a consistent basis, and you have the support of a community that really appreciates your leadership, but the struggle is far from over.
Yeah, what is it? Much is given, much is required. So, but I want to thank you so much,
Thank you,
Reverend Funchess, for explaining and recapping the events of the past year as they relate to the great Dr. King. And the Bible contains stories of many heroic figures, with one exception. They all had human flaws, and however, despite their inherent weaknesses, they were able to complete amazing feats. Among all of our American heroes is certainly Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who through his life and sacrifice was the author of major cultural and historic turning points. And we look forward to hearing more from you on Dr. King and other matters. So please come back in the future and visit with us once again.
It's always an honor, Mayor, always an honor.
We hear four-word slogans all the time reflecting groups and individuals, summing up a hollow mantra that is often vague with an undefined vision. And shortly before Dr. King died, said, "Make America what it ought to be." And Waterloo is a great place to live, work, and play, but we still have so much more work to do. And may Dr. King's words be our true vision for our city, our state, and our country as well. But don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Getting healthy has never been easier with a membership at Cedar Valley Sportsplex. Offering 80 free classes a week at all skill levels, there's always new and fun opportunities to grow. You never have to miss out on your favorites with our state-of-the-art facilities, featuring great exercise equipment, a track and field, pool, and 2 regulation gyms. So whether your game is football or pickleball, let the Cedar Valley Sportsplex turn your routine into something amazing.
Looking for something to do? For entertainment, shopping, eating, and more, go to experiencewaterloo.com for a complete listing of so many activities, exciting places, and venues. And that's our show. We welcome your suggestions and feedback. Remember to tell others that these episodes are available for viewing from the City of Waterloo website and at cityofwaterlooiowa.com, and search for Heart for the City. And be sure to like us on Facebook. Please join us next time, and thanks for watching Heart for the City. Until then, I think you will agree, it's a great day to be in Waterloo.